90 seconds to midnight. That's where the doomsday clock currently stands, marking humanity's proximity to global catastrophe. In March 2024, this ominous warning gained new significance when Ukraine successfully conducted its first deep strike operation into Russian territory, destroying 7 strategic oil refineries in Kursk. According to Bloomberg analysts, this precision strike reduced Russia's refining capacity by 12%, inflicting direct losses of $900 million. But this was merely the opening act of a far more dangerous drama. Against this backdrop, a development of potentially catastrophic proportions has emerged. North Korea, the world's most enigmatic nuclear power, has decisively entered the conflict. Intelligence reports from the Washington Post reveal staggering numbers. Pyongyang has covertly supplied Moscow with over 1 million artillery shells, 122mm and 152mm, 2,000 containers of defensive weaponry, and most alarmingly, KN-23 short-range ballistic missiles capable of carrying tactical nuclear warheads. Yet an even more disturbing pattern is emerging. Satellite reconnaissance has detected the presence of over 100 North Korean military specialists at Russian bases along the Ukrainian border. The New York Times reports these specialists aren't merely providing technical support, they're actively participating in tactical planning for Russian operations. This marks an unprecedented development, the first direct presence of North Korean military personnel in a European battlefield since the establishment of the DPRK. To comprehend the gravity of this development, we must assess the true capabilities of this new player. North Korea is no longer the impoverished nation with an obsolete military that many assume. With 1.3 million active personnel, the world's 4th largest standing army, and 7.7 million reservists, it commands one of the most substantial military forces globally. More critically, their arsenal includes an estimated 40 to 50 nuclear warheads, 1,000 ballistic missiles of various ranges, and one of the world's largest chemical weapons stockpiles, approximately 2,500 to 5,000 tons. February 2024 witnessed a disturbing demonstration of their advancing capabilities: the successful test of the Hwasong-18 ballistic missile. This wasn't merely another missile test. The Hwasong-18, equipped with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, demonstrated the ability to penetrate U.S. missile defense systems with a range of 15,000 kilometers, sufficient to threaten the entire continental United States. According to IAEA assessments, this technology likely benefited from Russian expertise, indicating a dangerous deepening of military cooperation. Satellite data from Maxar Technologies reveals an alarming trend. Maritime traffic between North Korea's Rajan port and Russia's Vladivostok has surged 200% in recent months. Significantly, these vessels routinely disable their AIS transponders, a clear indicator of clandestine operations. Reuters has exposed a comprehensive military technology transfer agreement between the two nations. In exchange for weapons, Moscow has agreed to provide Pyongyang with advanced missile propulsion technology, jet engine manufacturing expertise, nuclear submarine technology, and access to the GLONASS satellite navigation system. What drives Pyongyang to take such risks? The IISS, International Institute for Strategic Studies, highlights a critical fact. 70% of North Korean officers lack actual combat experience. Ukraine has become their perfect laboratory for weapons testing, modern tactical learning, and evaluation of Western defense systems. More strategically, this represents an opportunity for North Korea to break its isolation and establish itself as a global military power. The ambitions of North Korea could trigger a global seismic shift. The IMF has issued a stark warning. If the conflict spreads to East Asia, global GDP could contract by 4.2% in the first year alone, a devastation surpassing the 2008 financial crisis. JP Morgan Chase projects oil prices could surge to an unprecedented $150 per barrel. Yet these economic indicators are merely the harbinger of a greater storm. East Asia, the heartbeat of global supply chains, stands on the brink of paralysis. This region controls 60% of global semiconductor production, 80% of electronic display manufacturing, and 70% of global shipbuilding capacity. Bloomberg Economics estimates that a one-month disruption in the Taiwan Strait alone would inflict $2.6 trillion in damages. A staggering figure, yet not the most alarming threat we face. Global food security teeters on the edge of collapse, with the disruption of Ukrainian and Russian supplies accounting for 30% of global wheat and 20% of corn exports. The World Food Program warns that 47 million people could face acute hunger. Food prices have already surged 40% and could escalate another 50%. UNHCR reports 8.2 million Ukrainian refugees, a number that could explode to 12 million if North Korean military intervention intensifies. But the gravest threat looms larger: the risk of nuclear conflict. For the first time in history, we're witnessing the alignment of three nuclear-capable powers: Russia, North Korea, and potentially Iran, in open opposition to the West. Military strategists are particularly concerned about the dangerous convergence of Russia's escalate to de-escalate doctrine with North Korea's preemptive strike strategy. A single miscalculation, a hasty decision, or an unintended incident could trigger a nuclear catastrophe. To fully grasp these perilous circumstances, consider the recent assessments from leading global experts. In an exclusive March 2024 interview with Foreign Affairs, Harvard's Joseph Nye delivered a chilling analysis. We're witnessing the emergence of a new world order more dangerous than the Cold War era. This isn't a bipolar confrontation. It's a complex web of nuclear alliances, each with its own unpredictable agenda. From the ISS London Forum, General Mark Milley presented a haunting historical parallel. In 1939, the world ignored warning signs as Nazi Germany consolidated its alliances. Today, the Russia-North Korea-Iran axis is forming openly, yet many dismiss it as a regional issue. This could be the fatal miscalculation of the 21st century. Nouriel Roubini, known as Dr. Doom, outlined three dark scenarios in the Financial Times. Baseline: prolonged conflict, global economic stagnation. Adverse: war expansion, 2 to 3 year global recession. Catastrophic: nuclear exchange, collapse of global order. Particularly alarming is the assessment from Siegfried Hecker in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. With Russian assistance, North Korea has made extraordinary progress in nuclear warhead miniaturization. They now possess the capability to arm most of their missile systems with nuclear payloads. As we assess the current trajectory, particularly North Korea's deepening involvement in the Ukraine conflict, a critical question emerges. Is the world repeating the fatal miscalculations of the 20th century? The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, reports the doomsday clock at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest humanity has ever been to nuclear catastrophe. The lessons of the Cuban Missile Crisis and Cold War seem increasingly forgotten. As new nuclear alliances form, as major powers engage in increasingly aggressive confrontations, and as international nuclear arms control mechanisms continue to disintegrate, are we standing on the precipice of an irreversible disaster? The latest UN reports indicate diplomatic channels are rapidly narrowing. Meanwhile, the risk of miscalculation escalates as parties continuously test each other's limits. The question becomes, how many more incidents will it take for humanity to recognize we've ventured too far down this dangerous path? As war machines continue to operate, as military blocs expand, and as new weapon systems continue to develop, do we still have time to prevent a new world war? Or will humanity once again pay the ultimate price for the ambitions of great powers? These questions will be answered in the coming months. But one thing is certain: time is running out. For comprehensive analysis of global geopolitical flashpoints, subscribe and enable notifications.